Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage. It's been a week or so. Basically that's on me. We have some parts on the way that we've been waiting for. Nothing major, just stuff that's taking a little longer than I had anticipated. Also, we need to order some parts for the second gen. There's some stuff I got a call about just to get some measurements and stuff like that. Also, the drag truck, we do have an appointment for the drag truck next week, which hopefully you'll find out early next week if everything goes well and we are able to make it to our appointment, all that. So we are going to be doing that with the drag truck. It's going to go on its first little adventure. Not that it's anything real exciting, but that being said, at the beginning of this video you saw some burnouts. Went to a little car cruise this weekend. It was called Burgers and Burnouts 4.0. I think it was 4.0. It's the fourth time these guys did it. It's in the front of a church which has like a straightaway in front of it on their property. Basically, it was just a car cruise, like a little meetup, kind of everything of any flavor you could imagine, and just people hanging out, checking out cars, and doing burnouts. So it was a really good time. Unfortunately, I ran into some people I knew when I was checking everything out, kind of got talking, watching the burnouts, and kind of forgot I had the camera. So really what you saw there is about all I got. It was kind of wrapping up at that point where I said, man, I got to try and film something. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that contact. So tonight we are starting on the second gen, and you guys might be asking, what are we doing in the second gen now? I thought you were just going to drive this thing. We are. We took this thing to Burgers and Burnouts. Didn't do any burnouts with it, but it drove great. It was kind of like our test drive. I know we did a little one the night we got everything back together, but this was kind of, a nice little cruise out and cruise back just to make sure everything worked. And everything worked exactly how it should. So tonight we're actually going to be installing this little Amazon catch can. The reason I got this one is it's kind of what most of the catch cans you can find on like Amazon and eBay have a 10 AN fitting. The JIC fittings coming out of our billet tappet cover are actually 1/2 inch JIC, which is -8 line. So I just didn't want big 10 AN fittings on here. So this, we are able to get something that will take a 1/2 inch line, so we'll be able to plumb line right to it. Like I said, just a cheap Amazon catch can. It also has this drain, which we will be actually eliminating, going with a barb fitting. Then we are going to go down here to our fuel pump delete plate, I guess you call it. They're on the underneath the tappet cover, and we're actually going to drill and tap that for a barb fitting and a 90. This barb fitting is going on to our catch can, but then basically our catch can will vent all of our crankcase stuff to atmosphere with the filter. There is a baffle in here, and then it will drain back into the block. So hopefully this will be a non-service necessary catch can setup. If not, we'll kind of have to drop back and punt. That being said, for the time being, I had some line put on there, the stash 8 line, and everything is working how it should, but we're definitely getting some oil on the frame because I just kind of ran it down to the frame. But that's our first kind of thing we're going to tackle, is getting our catch can installed on the second gen, just so this thing's good to drive. I've been telling you guys I want to take this thing to work and stuff like that. Well, I was just worried with the with the crankcase vent going down in the ground, this thing being an old second gen. I was just worried about maybe there'd be some oil dripping on the ground, yada yada yada. Environmental people at work wouldn't like that very much. So we're going to take care of that, and then we're going to move on to our second project tonight, which involves that over there. So anyway, let's get this catch can installed and see how everything turns out. All right, so our new little catch can breather setup is in. I know it's rather hard to see, but we have our 2 lines coming in the back there from our tappet cover. Like I said, very hard to see. And our line coming from that fuel pump block off plate. Just drilled that, tapped it for 1/4 inch, and good to go. So that's in. That should be like a self-draining setup. It should work very well. I don't see any reason it shouldn't, but you never know. So very happy with that. Kind of just fits right there in the engine bay. You might be thinking, Tom, how'd you come up with this idea? And honestly, I did not. I'm probably gonna destroy his last name, but Christian Perkovich on the Instagram hit me up and said, hey, how about this idea? And you know what? That's exactly what we did. Took our 2 tappet cover vents, ran it into the catch can, and then drained down into the fuel pump block off plate. So very happy with that. Thank you, Christian. Certainly a good idea, and very happy we went that route. So that's really actually it for the second gen tonight. Like I said, we don't really have much to do. We're waiting on parts. I need to order parts, all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to turn our attention to our Polaris 4-wheeler. So I don't actually ride this thing too much anymore. Pretty much just doing stuff here around the yard. Don't really go riding per se. Use it down the hunting camp, stuff like that. But one thing that has happened, this thing is only, I don't know, 16 or 17. Oh, I think maybe a 16, something like that. But anyway, the front brake, yeah, it doesn't brake. It doesn't, make any pressure at all. I have tried bleeding it a couple times to no avail. So the only thing I can think of is that it needs a master cylinder. So we picked this master cylinder up, and we're going to install it and see if we can get these brakes to work properly. The only problem I have with this is a part, I can't remember where I got it exactly, but yeah, the parking brake pawl of it is rather loose and janky. Other than that, it's a nice piece for the money. I might try and put this park pawl on there, but I want to get this in, see if it works, and then we will go from there. But yeah, not having this brake handle kind of stinks. Yes, I still have a brake pedal, and that works flawlessly. I believe that is for the rear, and that is for all 4. So we will change this brake handle out, and hopefully we will have working brakes again. Well, at least working, all the brakes with the handle. All right, so we got our master cylinder changed out. Everything is bled, and as you can see, it actually works now. It doesn't just go into the handle. I actually have resistance, and actually if I push it, it's kind of hard to get the parking brake set all the way with one hand. Well, I guess if I did it like I was driving, I would still need 2 hands. Been a long time since I've been able to use this. So anyway, the parking brake works. Really, the parking brake just applies that brake. And actually, this one is for just the front brakes. I thought it was all, but it's been that long since it worked. So the only thing left to do is, well, try it. It works. All right, so as you can see, a quick change out later for this new master cylinder, which I think was like a $35 part or whatever. If I remember right, found it on a website, then looked the part number up, and the same company actually had it on Amazon for a little cheaper. Race Driven. Race Driven is where we got our master cylinder. I was actually just putting the camera away and saw the koozie that came with it, and yeah, so Race Driven. Their master cylinder is cheap but effective. Also, I commented how the park pawl was a little kind of janky and loose. Well, I changed that out with the factory one, and it's definitely a lot tighter. Definitely happy with that. Very easy to do. The hardest part was actually getting out the brake switch, because there's a couple indents up top that I wasn't aware of. So got that all out. I didn't even have to replace our banjo bolt washers. I know that's not recommended, but well, when you don't realize you need something like that, you kind of do what you got to do. If I can get this boot on there. All right, so that job is officially done. So four-wheeler is back in proper working order. Also, we got our catch can installed. Very happy with how that all turned out. Yeah, definitely thank you, Christian. I appreciate it. That was definitely a great idea and kind of the solution I was looking for. So everything on this is good. We are now clear, as far as I'm concerned, to drive the truck around and hopefully not leave oil spots all over the place. I don't know if it would have before, but it was just kind of like better safe than sorry kind of deal. So anyway, guys, I know we just kind of knocked out a couple small jobs tonight. Very small jobs, really. I mean, that master cylinder was rather easy, and so was our catch can. But there's some delays kind of in the works, kind of pertaining to this thing and some other stuff going on, because for the most part, this truck is just about ready to go. Obviously, we have a running issue, which we have kind of a game plan in place to take care of, but there's a lot of things that have to fall in line that are completely out of my control or anybody, you know, it's really out of just, it's kind of the universe's control at this point, and coronavirus has a little bit to do with it. Not a, well, it's kind of the big thing that kind of held everything up, but we'll go into that later, and it all makes sense at that point. But really, next week we're going to get this truck. We have our appointment, which I don't know why it's kind of being vague. We have an appointment next week to get the truck corner scaled at a local shop. So we're corner scale the truck, get a set of coilovers, and pretty much this truck will be ready to go, other than the running issue, and then that's where our other delay comes in. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that. It all makes sense in the end, but we're kind of moving along at a snail's pace right now with different stuff. I want to be able to drive the second gen. There's some stuff that we can definitely take apart, but there is parts that need to be ordered. There's parts that need to be measured for, yada, yada, yada. There's places I need to call about different parts. So really, it's just, yeah, I guess I need to get better at ordering stuff and kind of stuff like that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed a couple little projects. I hopefully that catch can setup gives you some ideas for your second gen or your 12 valve, or well, your second gen or your 12 valve. Your 12 valve or your 24 valve second gen. Just a nice little catch can setup that should feed back into the oil pan basically, and everything should be good to go. Nothing empty, no mess, no fuss, nothing like that. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrench on your truck.